Hello, friends. I hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. We are here for our weekly Thursday night free craft class. I'm going to check my settings really quick because my video kept flipping to low def. Yes, it looks good. All right. So it looks like we're good to go, but y'all just let me know if you have any trouble hearing me or seeing me at any point. We do have the chat. Let me show you guys the chat. Shazam! So if you guys have a question or concern, you can just pop it in the chat on any platform you're on. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, just pop it right here. I'll be able to see it in real time and help you along the way. We're doing a really quick tutorial today. It's DIY keychains, and I know you're like, why in the world are we doing this? Like, what does this have to do with anything? The reason that we're doing DIY keychains is that it's a really cool thing that you can do with your figure out how to get the DIY keychain to go away. Okay, there we go. It's a really cool thing you can do with your adult coloring pages. So it's the last Thursday of the month, which means that we're featuring Adult Coloring Monthly. That's our monthly subscription box of adult coloring pages. Let me show you that really quickly. It is right here. If you want to scan the QR code, if you think you might be interested in this, it starts at $4.97, which is for the digital pack per month. To have it printed and mailed, it's $12.97. So please, if you want to scan it, go ahead. You can also use that just to get to our website if you want. So adult coloring, it's all about relaxing and just like finding ways to unwind and kind of refining our drawing skills and refining our penmanship and our arm and like keeping us kind of in the frame of making art and keeping us in the frame of drawing. So it's definitely like a no stress kind of craft. There's a ton of different things that you can do with your adult coloring pages to display them or keep them. So let me show you the adult coloring monthly for this month. So this month, it's kind of like a 90s throwback. This is a Thomas Kincaid inspired issue, and all of the pages have these really cool, like, gosh, how can I show you? This is so hard to hold. Let me just do like this. It has all these really adorable like cottages and meadows and gardens and like streams everywhere. So all of it is kind of inspired by the artwork of Thomas Kincaid, which was like this really pop artist, popular, kind of like every mom was into it in the 90s. My mom was like super into it in the 90s. So every time I went to the mall with my mom, she always wanted to go to the Thomas Kincaid store. They had them in like every mall. Disney got into it. Disney even built some kind of like neighborhood or something that was like inspired by Thomas Kincaid. And there's also, you can find like Disney paintings with like Disney characters that are in like Thomas Kincaid settings. It's actually really sad because I mean, this guy was like mega huge in the 90s and he passed away pretty young. He passed away, I think he was about 56 years old when he passed away. So that's what our June Adult Coloring Monthly is featuring. I'm going to use a different issue because I just really love this. This is the December 2022 issue of Adult Coloring Monthly. Every December, we do a coloring calendar for the upcoming year. And this last year, we just had a couple extra. And this is very my style. Like, if y'all know me at all, like, y'all will know that these are very, very, very my style of images. So I just really wanted to make one of these into a keychain. So let's go back to this whole keychain thing. So the reason that we're making keychains is that with these adult coloring pages, I mean, you can color them and you can keep them, but there's so many different ways that you can use them, display them, make them into things. So I wanted to give you some ideas of things that you could do with your coloring pages so that you can use them again and again and have fun with them and just kind of take them off of the page. So there's a lot of different things, not just keychains. There's a lot of different things that we can do with these coloring pages. So I have a couple of ideas right here, which are, you can frame them, you can make them into magnets, you can make them into bookmarks, you can make them into, you can use them as gift wrap. You can do tons of different things. I have other ideas as well, but that's why we're doing keychains tonight, is it's really the first idea. And it also fits with that Thomas Kincaid kind of vibe, all of these different cottages. So I thought, oh, a keychain, you know, that's so cute. And it kind of goes with the whole house thing. So that is the idea. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a piece of one of these coloring pages that you really love. So I think I'm going to color this page right here, and I am going to take a few minutes to color. So you will need a small section of a coloring page. All of these little keychain blanks came with our June issues of Adult Coloring Monthly. So there's still time, by the way. If anybody watches this video and then decides that they want to grab one of the June issues of Adult Coloring Monthly, you do have a couple days left. It is the 27th today. You have until the end of the month, and you'll get one of these keychain blanks. So you're going to need your coloring book, some colored pencils or markers or crayons or whatever you want to use, your keychain blank. Mine also has this tassel, and then mine has this piece right here. You're going to need some scissors. We're going to use Mod Podge. You can use any kind of Mod Podge. You could also use Elmer's glue. You do not have to use Mod Podge. And I have a foam brush as well. A foam brush is best because a foam brush is not going to leave brush streaks like an acrylic paint brush would. Additionally, with a foam brush, I don't have to worry about bristles being left behind, and that can kind of disrupt the beauty of the keychain. So again, you're going to want to use Mod Podge. You can use matte, you can use gloss, you can use anything else, or Elmer's glue. Your coloring book, some colored pencils, markers, and the last thing you're going to need are some jewelry pliers. And I realized that I didn't grab mine too. At some point, you guys are going to see me run over to the side of the office where I keep all of our jewelry stuff and grab some pliers so I can show you how to work with jump rings. I can also show you that without you actually seeing me do it, but it's always best when you see all of the steps. So if you guys are ready, just go ahead and grab any of your coloring pages that are already colored. Again, I'm going to go ahead and color some of mine. So I've got this cute little section of ivy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this ivy in an array of greens. Now, with my coloring, I definitely don't want to go back and forth between these two colors of green. That's going to make it look very symmetrical, kind of a little bit off-putting even, you know, with that amount of symmetry. So it's going to be best for me. Now, everybody's going to be working a little bit different, but just some kind of quick tips about coloring pages and, you know, how all this all works. I grabbed a third shade of green, 3 different shades of green. 3 is the magic number. And I'm going to make sure that I am keeping my spacing asymmetrical. So I don't want to rotate the same pattern of these different shades of green. I want to make sure that I'm doing each section of these leaves a little bit different. And that's going to make it feel fresh and cool and fun. Now, if y'all are familiar with the color wheel, a friend of mine taught me a really cool trick about how to create beautiful color palettes. And I'm using that technique right now. I use it intuitively. Once this friend of mine taught me this technique for creating color palettes, it never went away. I never stopped using it. So I use it all the time at this point, which is that you want to grab, to make a really great palette, You want to grab several shades that are in the same color spectrum. So for example, I have these 3 shades of green. You could also consider, 3 shades of pink, or even like kind of a palette that's like an ombre pink to orange, or pink to yellow, or pink to red, something like that. Or you could do blue to turquoise to green. You want to use at least 2 or 3 colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel or extremely similar. Then what you want to do is you want to take a color that's going to be opposite that area of the color wheel, and that's going to make it pop. So if you're working with turquoise, a really good choice would be a bright yellow. For me, I'm working with these sagey greens, so I'm going to choose a pink. That's going to look really smoking cool. Another thing that works really well with green is gray. So I might grab some gray as well. Cream is also a lot of fun. Any of your neutrals are going to be a lot of fun to blend together. Now, one thing that I really love, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, is keeping my warm tone neutrals separate from my cool tone neutrals. So when I'm working with tan or cream, I might additionally use a brown because it's in the same family. They're very similar, but I don't often use a gray. Gray is usually, you can find warm tone grays and you can find cool tone grays, but for the most part, you're going to have a cool tone when you're working with gray. So I don't really blend those with cream because for me, it's not a combination that I love. Now, I welcome you to disagree, but take a look at it when you're working with those colors next time. Take a look and just see what you think. Now, I am really close to having this nice big section finished, big enough for my keychain. So it really doesn't take long to color enough artwork to make this keychain. Additionally, you could do this. You don't have to do this with a coloring page. You could create your own drawing from scratch on a sheet of paper, use this exact same technique to make a keychain as well. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and open up my little keychain pack. Now I've got my keychain blank. It comes with a cute little tassel. It comes with the keychain itself, and it comes with an additional jump ring that's quite heavy duty. Now what I want to do once I have my coloring page picked out, I want to place my coloring page just right on top, my keychain blank right on top of my coloring page and line it up just where I want it to go. You can play around with that, just figure out, what looks good. Figure out where you want it to be. And then once you have a good spot, grab a pencil or a colored pencil. I'm going to use a pen that I have near me and make a circle around the keychain. And that's going to be the area that you're going to cut. Now, don't worry about your markings from the pencil because you're going to need to cut this slightly small. So you're going to cut out, you're going to cut through the area that you've just marked. So don't worry about that at all. Now, what's easier, because this is a circle that I'm working with, you can find keychain blanks in other shapes, not just circles, but because it's a circle, it's going to be slightly harder to cut. So see, I just made this like messy cutout for the time being, not a circle at all. And then I can start to whittle it down from there. So now that I have that first cutout, this is so much easier to cut. It doesn't have to be perfect. Anytime you cut a circle, it's always going to have qualities that are kind of potato-like. So just don't be shocked if you have like one little part that's just not quite even. No one will notice. The only reason that you're going to be able to tell is when you're up really close, it's so visible. But once we have it on the keychain, no one will be able to tell at all. So just do the best you can. And now I've got my little cutout right here. And then this will just give you a moment to, like, once you have it like this, you can take a little moment and just color in anything else you want, make any additional lines, markings, whatever you like, anything you want. And now most keychain blanks will actually have a little piece of paper that is protecting them that is impossible to get off, which is, mine has this, and I am scraping it off right now. It's like a little protective layer. Once you get the edge of it, once you get the corner, it gets a little bit easier. So let me show you what I mean. And there you go. By the way, I did just find out that we're not streaming for whatever reason. We're not streaming to Facebook. It shows that I'm streaming to Facebook. Oh, it says unable to connect. I wonder if I can connect it now. Nope. Huh. Yeah. It shows that we're not on Facebook, but we are on YouTube and Twitch. So it is. As you know, technology, it's glitchy. So that paper is going to be on both sides. Again, it is like impossible. It's impossible to get off. Once you get the edge, it's easier to peel the rest of it, but just like getting the edge is like really hard. And you really want to do this with your hands. I do not recommend doing this with like a pair of scissors or like tweezers or anything like that, because it's so easy to scratch the surface of the keychain. And we want to avoid doing that if we can. Okay, so now I have both sides. So I went from having that keychain that looked white to now having a completely clear acrylic piece. So once you are happy with your drawing that you have here, once you have your drawing ready to go, we're just going to take the tiniest little bit of Mod Podge. Whoop! That's supposed to be a lot thicker than that. Wow, you never really know with Mod Podge, huh? I just make a big old mess. Crafting, it's fun. We make messes. I'm gonna clean up my mess. This is the good thing. Mod Podge is water soluble, so I can like clean up this mess and then just take like a wet paper towel and wipe this all down. So if this happens to you, like, do not worry, everything will be fine. It's not going to stain anything. It's not going to ruin anything. That's the beauty of Mod Podge. And then again, you guys, you can use Elmer's glue. You don't have to just use Mod Podge, but Mod Podge is a nicer product. It's going to give you a nicer finish. All right, so I have plenty of Mod Podge on my brush, plenty on the table if I need more. And I'm going to first give it a little coat on the back, give it a little bit of stickiness, but I'm going to decoupage this. So for anybody that already like knew immediately like what we were doing when they saw the supplies, You are absolutely right. It's just a really easy decoupage project. And decoupage is such a fun thing to do and such a common thing to do with Mod Podge. Now, here's one thing to be careful of. Make sure that your little tiny hole where your keychain links are going to go is facing up, and that you have your coloring page facing in the direction that you want it to go. So be aware of which side is up. Be also extremely careful when you place your coloring page on top of your blank, your keychain blank. Make sure that you have it perfectly placed and not off center, right? You don't want your coloring page to be here and that keychain blank to be here. You want them to be one directly on top of the other. So once you have that, again, I'm just using this Mod Podge from the table. Once you have that, all you need to do is create a thin coat on top. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could take that coloring book page and actually put this on the back side so that you're looking through that clear acrylic, that keychain itself, before you see the coloring book page. But I'm just doing the straightforward way. So I'm just putting the page on top. It's on top of the acrylic. And then I'm brushing the Mod Podge to decoupage it, to give it a clear coat and to hold it in place. And you can already see, like, it's almost finished. That's really about all that we have to do to make it. The only thing that you're going to want to do after this is you're going to want to let this dry completely. Then you can consider if you want to put something on the other side. You might want to add multiple coats of Mod Podge. Mod Podge does take a little bit of time to dry. So I would give it, personally, I would give it maybe an hour or two. You could even let it set overnight and then add multiple coats. That's always really nice if you have like thick paper, or if you're in an area that's like really humid, really sticky. So you just want to give it like a kind of a thicker coat. And then last, what you're going to want to do is find any kind of thin, pokey material, like a toothpick, like some small tweezers, like the end of a pen or a pencil. And you're going to want to poke it through that little tiny hole. Also, if you have a tiny hole punch, that would work really well as well. And you're going to want to punch through the area where we have this little hole. Now this is my back side, so like I was saying, you might want to add another piece to the back. That's my front side. Now I would want to wait for this Mod Podge to dry and see if I want to add some multiple coats, but for the sake of this tutorial, and so you're not just sitting here watching me wait for paint to dry. See, I just have this like little pointy pen. You can literally use anything to poke through here to make that hole. So again, you could use like a toothpick, you could use some small tweezers, you could use, a tiny hole punch. There's a lot of different things that you could use. I just have this little pen with this little metal tip, so I know that metal tip is not going to get damaged or ruined. And then I'm going to poke it through. Now you have to go from front to back so that you don't pull the coloring sheet away from the keychain blank. Now I have my little hole. Once you have your hole, You might want to just touch up any of the color that you have right there. Make sure that you touch up the edges, that the edges stay nice and firmly down towards the acrylic blank. Again, when all of these things are dry, this is going to be a lot easier to work with. And then the last thing is that we just want to attach our keychain ring and our jump ring. So I'm going to grab those jewelry, those needle nose pliers, so you guys can see that. And I'll literally be back in like 3 seconds because it's just right across the room. And actually, here, why don't y'all come with me because you can see our mess pile. So we have everything organized here in the warehouse, like into categories. So I'm like walking past home goods, walking past painting. Here is all our back issues of our coloring books. Now we're over in jewelry supplies. But I think that these needle nose pliers are going to be out on the work tables. I don't see them here. Maybe on my desk. See a lot of hole punches. Not a lot of needle nose pliers. Was I using them for something? This is something that happens, is like I'll be mid-project, so I don't put the item back, you know, because I'm in the middle of working with it. And then I need it for something else. You can't find it. Well, let's go digging in our jewelry bin. Well, here's some needle nose pliers. One set will be fine. 2 sets is always better. And what's the best is if you guys have a set of needle nose pliers and a set of like flat pliers that are also small. That is such a great way to work. It makes it so easy. But one will do. Okay, so here's the thing that you need to know about jump rings. When you get a jump ring like this, see how it's open like that? It's open in a spiral. Anytime we open and close jump rings, we want to twist them open, twist them close. We never open them like a Pac-Man, close them like a Pac-Man eating things. We always twist them into a spiral. The reason that we do that is it holds its circular shape better. And the more perfect the circle, the stronger the hold is going to be with any jump ring. This is true for jewelry making. This is true for these keychains. Anytime you're working with jump rings, the more perfect the circle, the stronger it's going to be. So I just take that jump ring, slip it into that little hole. If you like, you can add that tassel. So cute. Oh my gosh, I'm so into it. And then we add the last link on our keychain. Now here's the quirky part. This is why you really want to have 2 pairs of jewelry pliers, is because I can take my other hand, twist it back closed so easily. But because I only have one that I could find, I'm going to want to find a tool that's fairly similar. And this is going to be a little bit harder. So I have these scissors and I have to be super careful, right? Because I don't want to bend these scissors. I don't want to damage them. But trust me, this will happen to you. And see, another thing is that it's harder, you know, when you're working with something like scissors, you don't have as much control. So stuff like that will happen. If you don't have needle nose pliers at all, gosh, I mean, you could use a wrench. If you have tools that you keep around the house, go through your toolbox and see if you can find anything there. That looks like it'll work. anything that you can like hold something small like this in place, it's really just about holding it firmly and gripping it and then twisting these two pieces together. Gosh, do I have anything else? Should I just try to hold it with my hand maybe? Should I use the table maybe? No, I gotta use these scissors. I just have to not let go under any circumstances. And I have to have a really good grip on my right side. This is gonna be hard. This is like when I was making macrame earrings, y'all. Sometimes crafting goes your way. Sometimes crafting does not go your way. Even when you're making something simple like a keychain. Oh my God. Kill me. Let's see if we got it this time. Y'all, I promise this is not hard to do. Why am I having all these problems? I don't know. There we go. All right. Now the trick is going to be don't let go. Don't let it slip. Don't let it fall. Pretend these scissors are needle nose pliers. Boom! Okay, that's how easy it should be when you do it the first time. It's absolutely shocking that it was like that I ran into so many problems, but as it goes. So here's my little keychain. We are completely done. That's literally it. That's all you have to do. And this is just a really cool, fun way to enjoy your coloring book pages or any little drawings that you've made. Let's run through all of the steps really quickly and just make sure we feel comfortable with it and that you can do this again on your own. So all we did is we just took a small section of our coloring page, draw around the keychain blank to make a circle. And then once you cut out that circle, make sure you cut any of those pencil lines because you want this coloring page to be ever so slightly smaller than the exterior of the circle. You don't want it to be bigger because then the coloring page, even little tiny bits are going to kind of hang over the edges and you don't want that. So then you're going to make sure you peel off any of the backing of the acrylic blank, the keychain blank. Then you're going to add a tiny bit of Mod Podge or Elmer's glue to the back of your coloring page. Adhere it to the acrylic blank, the keychain blank. Then you're going to add more to the front to decoupage it. Let it dry completely and consider doing multiple coats. You can also consider, doing like a front and a back if you like, something like that. Otherwise, you could also just like use a paint pen to like put your initials right there if you like. And then once everything is dry, you're going to use just any kind of little stabby object to poke through the hole to put this links and the chain on it. I used a pen. You could use a toothpick. You could use tweezers, really whatever you want. Then you're going to use needle nose pliers to put that jump ring together. You saw me do it with scissors and needle nose pliers. So hopefully that'll give you just a little bit of inspiration that if you can't find your own tools, if you need to improvise, it's totally doable. It's just not as easy. And that's it. And now we have a really cool way to celebrate our coloring page. So just really quickly before we hop off today, let me run through a couple of things. First of all, we're doing our weekly 15% off. So anything on the website is 15% off. Just use that code Craft with Brittany. There's a lot of different things that you can do with coloring pages. I mentioned this earlier, so we can frame it. We can make them into magnets, just like we did keychains. We can do magnets. We can make bookmarks. We can use it as gift wrap. There's a ton of different things that you can do with your coloring book pages other than just color them. So I definitely want for you guys to feel inspired to take these things off of the page and off of the wall and figure out what else you can do. The last thing is I want to tell you guys about a couple of new things. So we have this brand new Let's Paint Together subscription box. This is a subscription box that's all about painting. We're just launching it right now. We're super excited about it. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. And our end of summer craft camp bundle, which is a really affordable way to get 5 large crafts and a couple of additional crafts. So it's basically like 7 or 8 crafts and a series of video tutorials that we'll do together, a lot like this. So it'll be super fun and it's really, really affordable. And if you're bored, if you've got like the end of summer, just kind of like I'm ready to do something, then it's a cool thing to do. And you can do it all at home or you can do it with friends. You can take it over to your friend's house and work together. You can do it as a couple. You can do it as a family. Everything in the kit is pretty family friendly. It's targeted at adults. There's 2 DIYs that are maybe slightly more adult, which are gilded barware, which you can request pint glasses, wine glasses, or martini glasses. And we're going to gild them and make them like really cute and stylish. So that's like a little bit adult. And then you'll also get an ebook with a bunch of different cocktail recipes. That's, of course, completely adult, but everything else is completely kid friendly. And then I want to tell you guys about our upcoming workshops. So today is the 27th. So the next event that we have is going to be July 30th, where we are going to show you all of the June subscription boxes. It'll be like the last chance for you to grab any of those. And we'll show you a bunch of new kits that we have. August 1st, in person at Bagby Park, we have watercolor painting. If you're in the Houston area, please come. August 3rd, virtually, we're going to make kites. They're going to be really stylish. We're going to make them with fabric. It's going to be very vintage feeling. It's almost like Mary Poppins, like so cute, very dreamy. So I think you guys are going to love that. Then on August 10th, we're going to do kawaii jewelry making. Then August 15th, we'll have some back to school craft ideas. Then on the 17th, we're going to do washi tape DIYs. So we have a bunch of fun stuff coming up. You can find all of that at Pop Shop America. Just click on events when you're on the website and you can see that list there. So that's it. It's a really fast workshop. DIY keychains. I hope you guys have the best night. You guys, by the way, like and subscribe. If you're not following us already, please be sure to smash the like button so we can stay in touch and stay together. And we'll make sure that whatever's going wrong with the Facebook streaming, we'll make sure that we fix that by next week. But it happens. It's just one of those things. So you guys have the best night and we'll see you next week.